Um, Weird matchup. It's a Penn State. It's a whiteout game. Those are always pretty tricky. If this was at Iowa, I think it'd be a much different ball game, but this is at Penn State. I don't know what to think of Iowa. They're 3-0, but they really haven't played anybody. But their offense has still looked pretty lackluster, even with Cade McNamara in as quarterback. He is he went from a pretty good quarterback at Michigan to Iowa level quarterback at Iowa. And maybe that's just he just rubs off on you when you get there. I don't know.
The
Um,
moment you step onto the field,
uh,
it just sucks your ability to play quarterback out. It's
yep.
like we're
So,
gonna run the football and we're gonna play great defense. That's all we got here in Iowa.
but they had 906 yards for the year or in their 3 games, so not a lot. They have 28.3, which is, I mean, their offense coordinator will be fired if it's less than 25. So they're at 28.3, but I mean, a lot of those points have been scored by defense, and then they scored a lot of those points last week against what was it, Western Michigan or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Um,
the only game they've scored over 28.
yeah. Penn
24
State.
and then 20.
Yeah, so the first, I mean, and I think the defense scored a touchdown too. So I mean, they haven't scored a lot of points as an offense. So, but I mean, their defense is good. That's what's always true about Iowa. Uh, Penn State comes to this matchup 3-0. They kind of got a little bit of revenge from Illinois, the loss in Illinois, with the 30-13 win over them. But this was a closer game for a while. Drew Aller, I would say had probably his worst game. He was 16 of 33 for 208 yards, so about 50% at 200 yards. Did it for when he picks, but was it quite himself because Illinois has a good defense. I'm interested in this what Iowa's going to do to depend to him because I'm like he probably hasn't seen a defense like that, and I'm wondering if they're going to get him to throw some from picks that he normally would do, and then make this game closer than it should be. I mean, obviously Penn State has a much more talented team. What do you think is going to happen here?
I think Penn State's gonna blow them out. I think, I mean, it's the whiteout game for some reason. Instead of saving that for when Michigan comes to town, you'd think that would make way more sense. But I think between the atmosphere, the talent, I think Aller's gonna have a bit of a bounce back game. I don't think he's gonna look great. That Iowa defense is legit, but I think the talent's going to be there. I don't think Iowa's offense is going to be able to do anything against Penn State's defense. Chop Robinson, Kalen King, amongst others there on Penn State's defense. I think it's just going to be too much for Iowa. And, I think this is going to be a game that's going to be like Penn State 31, Iowa 7, Iowa 10, something like that. Pretty kind of a
Oh
similar
man.
score to their last game against Illinois, you know? And I do think a lot of it's just going to it's going to be close throughout. And then Penn State's just going to pull away in the beginning of the fourth and just kind of not look back.
Yeah. I disagree on this one as well. I think it's going to be another rock fight. That is like a very defensive struggle. I could see this being like a 17-10, 17-13 Penn State win. This is closer than it should be. Iowa keeps them in there with their defense, but they don't have a lot on the offense to score enough points. And then Penn State just kind of outlasts them with their running game. So I do think Penn State will win, but I do think it'll be closer than we think.